form of political expression, I think, that really bloomed in the later on the 60s. We had Dylan, Joan Baez, and Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah.
There was Arlo Guthrie and Woody Guthrie, of course. I mean, look at him.
What were your thoughts? I mean, I know you were young at this time, but when you observe Woodstock, because that's kind of like the predecessor to all these festivals that are now huge.
Yeah. That's it's back then. As I remember seeing the movie, I did go see the movie. I think it came out like about a year later, and then Altamont ruined everything. That was just like that was the hit of the '60s. That one.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I could ever put together another Woodstock. It could happen, but it happened to be an accident because the Woodstock was an accident.
Yeah. Was it just one of those things? Kind of growing up, you heard all the stories and were probably like blown away. It wasn't social media back then. It wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
What would have happened if it would have been on Instagram? I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's still the same thing. Something blows up on Instagram. It's funny how an audience can smell something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I don't know. It's I don't know if it's a mass ESP or what, but so somehow they show up for things.
Right. Are you on social media much?
I am. You know what? I'm a late starter because of my generation, but
sure.
I am this year coming up. I'm going to blow up on and become real disciplined about it.
Do it!
Because it's, because of the business and what I do, and I come from a generation, back it wasn't cool to back in the '70s to hardly do interviews.
So really, I
mean,
mean,
nobody went to the Golden Globes. You weren't cool if you went to the Golden Globes. Jack Nicholson would do a film, and he'd do one interview in one magazine. He'd never go on a talk show, and it wasn't cool to go on talk shows because I guess it was it was about the mystery of maintaining mystery, I guess, and having an audience imprint their own feelings upon you rather than them knowing you. And that it was, if an audience knew you too well, then why go pay money to go see this person because you already know them. That was the philosophy, and not really starting to change because people started to really become fascinated with people's personal lives, I think. And so it's a different world we live in. I'm not saying it's worse or better or anything, but it is the world we live in nowadays, and it's a tool and it's a way to communicate.
Absolutely. Have you found it useful with your music as well and sharing things?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely get the word out, and like I said, it's really great for people getting started because basically, run their whole show with on a very small investment.
Got you. Are you Dennis? Are you very very politically expressive in this day?
I'm an independent man.
Nice.
Okay.
I've voted both ways all my life.
Okay.
And it's just for me, it's about what the times are, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like America gets the president it deserves. But it's really expresses what's going on in the country, and I think people are people, and also once again, I come from a time back when they had liberal Republicans and conservative Democrats, and the world was upside down. It's completely, totally changed.
Mm.
The civility is what I would like to see return.
Right.
And for people to just stop screaming at each other.
We want to remind you to please like our Facebook page if you haven't already. When you join, you'll be able to receive weekly updated news and events, live video messages, and most importantly, you'll be able to interact with tons of people just like you. So go on that button on top of your Facebook page and give it a click, or interact with us on Instagram. Without each and every one of you, Tech This Out would not exist. We couldn't do it without you. Make sure to repost and share different things you see on our page. The more you share, the better. Be sure to watch previous shows on our YouTube channel, and please subscribe so that you can be notified when we post new content. We really want to connect and hear from you, so please don't hesitate to message us. And to find us online, please go to Tech This Out America on Facebook, Tech This Out on YouTube, Twitter, and all social media platforms. Get whole scope at techthisoutnews.com. We connect the streets.
It's interesting, Dennis, I think, just, certainly media and film have such a huge presence here in the U.S. and have a lot to do with even us kind of selecting our leadership. And I would imagine that began with Ronald Reagan and who he was as, a Hollywood star. What is your take on that when it comes to politics?
What, as far as music and...
Well, just kind of media. Just kind of creating heroes, so to speak.
Oh, creating heroes?
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe they do that to a certain extent. I mean, certainly that their candidates' own PR people, try to play that up. Mm-hmm. But some people are heroes.
Sure, yeah.
Ronald Reagan was maybe my favorite president of the 20th century. Was a hero. He ended the Cold War.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was the guy that everybody was afraid was going to start a nuclear war, but it took somebody like that, like one of those old codger Cold Warriors, to be able to negotiate with the Soviets.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's so some are, history reveals itself, I guess, about 25 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, never know at the time. Lincoln was reviled while he was in office. He certainly wasn't a hero.
Right.
A lot of people that wanted to string him up.
Yeah.
And people of his own party, in fact. And it's so you never know. I mean, you go through adversity and come out the other side of it, and
yeah.
I think just patience is the thing there.
Yeah.
But heroes. I'm wary of heroes while they're for them to be called a hero after the fact. That's okay. But demagoguery, I'm definitely not into.
Okay, got you. It's interesting. I saw a quote where you said, "Sometimes in movies, I still have to be the hero, but it's not all that important to me anymore."
Oh man, that's deep.
Do you remember that quote at all?
I don't know what that was. The context. But just interested in playing. I'm as an actor. I'm interested in playing, reflecting the human condition. I'm fascinated with people and why they do things. And
sure.
Who they are, what makes them who they are, and also more and more than that, it's stories.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I love how you kind of just spoke on reflecting the human experience and just kind of your openness towards, just kind of speaking on life. And I'd imagine you've lived a lot of life. I saw and kind of just understanding more of your background, that you were married 3 times.
Yeah.
Would you get married again?
We count it out.
What'd you say?
I wouldn't count anything out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Understood.
I've been married 3 times, but I don't see any failures. they were wonderful for a long time, and I learned a lot from the good times and the bad times in life.
That's interesting because do you think, I mean, in your personal opinion, do you think, what's your take on soulmates, Dennis?
Oh, I think I think I think we do have soulmates, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be forever with them.
Okay.
But soulmates, I have some of my guy friends and my best friends are, I consider to be soulmates.
Sure.
It's of the soul. It has nothing to do with sex or anything. It's a spiritual connection that you have with people.
Definitely.
People in your life.
Definitely. Wow. That's interesting. I mean, so I know obviously now, what's it like to be, a man who's lived life like this? I mean, I must say you have a beautiful girlfriend, and it seems like you've never had any problems with the ladies. But what is that like for you? So to speak. When you reflect now in 2018.
I like to be in a relationship. I guess I always have, and certainly I've been single, sometimes gone out there,
right,
whacking around. But I prefer being in a one-on-one relationship.
Oh, you say you prefer it?
I have a beautiful relationship right now with Santa, my girlfriend. She's from Latvia. She was born in the Soviet Union. In fact, she's had a very interesting life and beautiful person. Just a beautiful person. Brings joy into your life. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or at least you get to share the joy in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've done a lot of great things, and I know, certainly, you've made a lot of, obviously, well, let me just say, you've made a lot of money, but how important to you is that? Because you live in a world where, obviously, people are getting divorced and married all the time, and you have to kind of decide on, splitting up assets. I mean, what's your take on, marriage after having been married that many times? I mean, I believe in marriage.
Okay.
Okay.
I believe in marriage, and marriages produce children,
sure.
And that's what I'm really grateful for. And it's a beautiful life.
Sure.
And as far as money goes, money's fantastic. It certainly helps, But it's more important than that is doing something that you love to do and getting paid for it. And that's what I tell my kids: find something you love to do, and then figure out a way to get paid for it. You'll have a third of your life figured out.
Interesting. Absolutely. Do you and your kids listen to a lot of the same music sometimes, or how's that work?
Well, my son, my oldest son, with Meg, Jack, he's 26, and he kind of grew up, I guess his generation. They're very interested in the music of the 70s and music that I kind of grew up with. I don't know where my 11-year-olds are going to fall as far as their musical taste. I tried to give them kind of education and it was open them up to all kinds of music.
Sure.
But I'll let them have their own taste.
Sure. Wow. So would you say that you feel like you need to, like with your kids, in terms of like with social media and the internet, do you have to screen a lot of things that they are, viewing? And do you find yourself like, hey, you need to get off of that? Or are you kind of like, just talking them through?
Well, I think a lot of that has improved from what it used